What's happening, guys? Ari here from Boston Automotive Consulting, and in this quick little video I want to give you a breakdown, the chain of command, who's who at the car dealership. If you're logging onto one of my videos for the very first time, please consider subscribing because I give away a ton of free valuable content that revolves around new car buying, particular vehicle related negotiation guides, and some of these more general negotiation tips and hacks that I'd love for you to consistently watch and understand exactly how all of this works. So diving right in. So there's like a natural chain of command at a dealership, and it depends exactly how much trouble you're having at the dealership to try and understand exactly who you need to go, who's required to be a part of the deal for you to get the deal done. Let's start off with the person that picks up the phone. Typically, the person that picks up the phone at this point may not actually physically be at the dealership. They could be part of a larger internet sales department that works for a bunch of different dealerships that's basically trying to find out how to reroute your call. Now you'll notice that a lot of the times when you do some business with the dealership on the phone, when you're about to call the dealership for pricing or set an appointment, etc., it may be handled by a third-party company, or they have what's called an internet sales department, which handles a lot of these phone calls. So the internet sales department is, in some cases, the reception. Now, when you call them and you ask to speak to somebody in sales, you call and they say, yes, we can transfer you over. The person you just spoke to was a receptionist, the front desk. And if they say, yes, I can certainly help you, chances are 80% of the time, you are now dealing with the internet sales department. The internet sales department is comprised of a bunch of people that were trained to handle phone calls and emails in order to get you through the door. Not a lot of hardcore negotiation happens at the internet sales department unless an internet sales manager, the person that sort of oversees the work of the internet sales department, decides to hop in and try to make sure that they give you enough information so that you come in, whether it be minimal or just full-blown. They're going to take whatever numbers you're asking for and give it to their sales manager to get you to finalize the deal with them. Now, say you weren't calling in or emailing, but you walked through the dealership. You walked into the dealership and you said, I'm here for the first time. Who do I talk to? So generally, you'll be greeted by a receptionist who will then hand you off or page a sales associate that's going to try and help you go through the normal process. You know, the sales associate is the typical salesperson. They still got to do the whole dance where they got to go up to their boss, and that boss that we're referring to right now is a sales manager or a desk manager. The job of these two people is to make sure that the salesperson is following protocol correctly and is being given numbers, whether it be numbers you're asking for on their car or trying to get a trade appraisal done. The sales manager, there could be a few of them, and their boss is the general sales manager who is in charge. He's basically the director of sales for that dealership. Similarly, when you're dealing with the salesperson and the sales manager got involved to give you figures, and let's say you were okay with the figures, you shook hands, now you're being directed to a finance manager who is one step above a salesperson and sort of just right underneath a sales manager, where if you're in disagreement with a finance manager over something, chances are that a sales manager can now take control over what's happening with the finance manager. Now, directly above the finance manager is the finance director, who will typically always work with that general sales manager or the director of sales for the dealership. And the general sales manager or the director of sales for the dealership has about the final say until there's another major disagreement, in which case would now go to the general manager of the dealership. The general manager of the dealership, because they're in charge with all different aspects related to the dealership, whether it be the service department, the sales department, the parts department, they're generally not able to pay 100% of their attention to the happenings of the sales department. The general sales manager to some degree, handles about 90% of the troubles and the concerns of the sales department. But when there's a particular issue that requires sort of management to get involved, as in management that so far wasn't able to solve the issue that you're having, the general manager is who you want to be looking for. The general manager has the final say in every aspect of deals, service, parts, whatever trouble that you may have had will always be redirected to the general manager. And if the general manager of the store, depending on if you're dealing with a family-run dealership or you're dealing with a major corporate chain dealership, there is always another person above the general manager of the store, typically the owner or the dealer principal, regardless of whatever issue you may be having, is typically willing to set down the sheet of paper that is causing an issue, as in numbers related issue, and solve the problem regardless of whatever that number disagreement may be. If they feel as though, with their discretion, it won't make or break that dealership when their reputation is on the line. Just to recap, you've got reception or internet sales, you've got your internet sales manager, and then you've got a sales associate. You've got a finance manager, the sales manager, then you've got a general sales manager, and then a general manager, and then ultimately the owner or the dealer principal. If you're having a major issue, then what you'd want to do is figure out how you can get the contact information for either the general manager or the dealer principal, and find a way to deal with them if your issue is seemingly impossible to resolve via the active associates on the sales floor. So guys, I hope that this video helped clarify exactly who's who at the dealership. If you found this information useful and you want to see more of these new car buying and negotiation type videos, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.